Hi there, thank you for joining me for this edition of the Calvin Chronicles. This video continues my visit in Vietnam, in the city of Hanoi, and I wanted to dive more into the history of the country. There's a lot of conflict that was there, and most of us in the United States are familiar with the last 8 to 10 years of that conflict through the Vietnam War, but there was a lot that happened prior to that. And I wanted to explore more of that during my trip. I found a new small tour company in Hanoi called the Bon Bon Experience, and they offered a tour that packaged together some of the museums and sites that were key to the formation of Vietnam as we know it today. The tour started at the Ho Chi Minh Museum, which covers the life and background of the leader most associated with the Vietnamese independence movement. Then we visited the Vietnam Military History Museum to go through some of the conflicts leading up through 1975. We then visited the Hanoi Citadel, an ancient royal site that was used during French colonialism and by the North Vietnamese leadership during the Vietnam War. And then before wrapping up our tour, we did a little bit of sightseeing and then wrapped up with a traditional Vietnamese meal for lunch. If you enjoy learning about new places around the world, be sure to subscribe so that you can follow along with me. So let's get started on our tour.
Really typical for the bronze drum and the people at this time. So you see, it's like, and normally the pattern describes the daily life of people at that time. But then on the second layer here, you see that is Ho Chi Minh's life. So which
way does it start?
Technically, it's not chronicle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just all the highlights put on that layer. And we're going to see everything more detailed. It's the eternity of the nation. No, of the nation. Here, Nghệ An is a province. Yeah. Yeah. And this is his parents, and this is these are his parents, and these are his siblings, and they were all patriots. They were they were all patriots. They took part in a lot of uprisings and movements against the French colonization at that time. And that's why we can see a few documents and files in here. Yeah, okay, no worries.
I have two questions related. So, first one is, where did the name Indochina come from? And then the second one, did that just pertain to what is Vietnam, or did that encompass a larger area?
All right, so about the Indochina part, technically, Vietnam wasn't widely known as a country at that time. So to Western people, it's just a land between China and Indian Ocean. So that's where the name Indochina came from. And technically, Indochina consists of 3 countries: Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia.
Okay.
And then, when the French came, they took over Vietnam and they created the government and everything, mostly in Vietnam. But at the same time, they still had control over the other 2 countries.
Okay.
Which is the Russian Revolution, or also known October Revolution. It succeeded, and that actually inspired and provoked Ho Chi Minh to pursue Leninism and Marxism. And then when he read this document, he was so sure. He became so sure. Too. So, and another major contribution of Ho Chi Minh in the communism in the world is this work over here, the French colonization on trial. He published this work in Paris at that time, which caused a huge scandal for a lot of French colonies and most colonies at that time, because to people in the mainland, they only thought, all right, maybe they just have a fair life and everything, but they didn't know how much the people in the colonies had to suffer until they read this. Yeah, so you see the gap, and at that time, a lot of Vietnamese people, everyone had to pay a lot of tax For example, your family have 5 people and one passed away, you still have to pay tax for that person. Yeah, so there was a lot of taxes on the Vietnamese people. So that's why they had such a poor life. You see, like a very, very basic meal, maybe they have to stop. February 1930. And so this meeting, so you see the 3 triangles representing for 3 parties at that time. And here is little like about this like a meeting minute of the whole meeting.
Or meeting minutes?
I would say of the meeting in Kowloon. Cave, this is where the cave is.
Ah.
Yeah, he made his way to China and he was captured around here. And
By China or by?
By the Chinese.
Okay.
By Chiang Kai-shek's government. It's a Chinese government at the time. And he was transferred to 33 prisons in China. And then inside the prisons, he wrote 133 poems, all in Chinese. So yeah, he could speak Chinese too. And the reason why this it was all in Chinese is because he wanted to show to the government that he wasn't afraid. And secondly, he wanted to encourage his prison mates that be brave. There's nothing to be afraid of. Ho Chi Minh means the person whose mind was enlightened.
Did he give himself this name?
Yeah. The year 1776, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. The first sentence, the first year. Everyone was born equally. Honest, I'm not sure about the original
I don't remember if it's
version.
verbatim, but I know it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
The same concept.
Yeah, and the second part is from the Declaration of Civilization of French Revolution. He didn't call it testament. Technically, literally, it was translated into a few words I left for the people.
Oh.
We wanted the people to be happy, to try, because he passed away on the 2nd of September 1969. At that time, the Vietnam hadn't been reunified, so he wanted to encourage the people to stand up for it, to try to reunify the country and everything, and for the kids to be like studious. So the day when you write the so.
It's a retro vibe. World War II ended, the French thought they could reclaim the country, so they came back to Vietnam. But at that time, taking the opportunity of the World War II ended, Chiang Kai-shek's army, they came to Vietnam too, and under the reason to disarm the Japanese fascists.
So the Chinese didn't come for like to conquer. They came.
They
to kick
wanted
out.
to conquer.
They wanted to conquer too.
But they make like the reasons for them, right? They didn't want to say, I want to conquer you. They say, I want to help you disarm the army. They attack. When you attack, you will die if you hold the launch mine to charge the tank. So We had 100 launch mines from the Japanese at that time, and we needed 100 men to hold the launch mine. So these 100 men got an early funeral. So before every other regiment left for the north, they organized. They held a funeral for these people to pay homage and everything before they actually died. Yeah. One day I was going on a tour with another group of friends, of tourists, but then we encountered a French soldier. He didn't participate in the war, but he knew a lot about it. And he said that, like, to Vietnamese people, the Điện Biên Phủ battle was the one, but to French, this is the one that they know that they would fail the Indochina War. Because in this battle, they lost 8,000 people, 8,000 good soldiers in this battle.
However, our forces again attacked Hill A1 at 6 p.m. on May the 6th. Our engineering troops dug a tunnel 47 meters long to plant a ton of explosive into the defensive battleground of the enemy. Our infantrymen marched forward from various directions and completely destroyed Hill A1. Strong points C2, 310, 506, 507, 508, and 509 were one by one annihilated. At 15 Malcolm May, our force from the east and the west launched the general attack against the French headquarters. At 5:30 p.m., General Castros and the whole of his staff were captured alive.
And it's like a very, very, I would say a very unique collection of airplanes. You see, like these big airplanes. Yeah. It's actually from the Vietnam War. Like when the Americans left, we managed. Yeah, it was really, really old. This is the original construction of King Thiên Palace, and King Thiên Palace. This is it's supposed to be there. That yellow building we're looking at right now. But when the French came, they demolished the whole. Your phone, the data mine. Yeah, it doesn't work properly. Oh? Yeah, a bit great. So yeah, and in this meeting room, they are trying to recreate, so this room is used for a lot of important meetings as after the names of important people. So if you go around Hanoi, you can see a lot of names like this.
Is there a hand count?
So this is the bunker D67. And technically the use of this bunker is the same as the meeting room that we just visited.
Just downstairs?
Are these originals?
That's the original. Yeah. You can smell like the moldy smell when you enter this moldy smell when you enter this thing.
Yeah, I noticed a few of them earlier.
So with you, So normally this is for ventilation and filter.
Okay.
So like, and normally the toxic will be heavier, the toxic gas will be heavier than the normal air. So when it comes in here, we'll hit this gate and get out of the chamber behind. That they're looking at. Yeah, there's a chamber behind.
So this is to remove the toxic gas
Yeah.
from the room?
From here, from outside world. So just in case. 18th of December 1972. That's the first time we got the signal from the B-52. And as soon as they got the signal, they do the math, they note it down here, and then one person will come straight to these 4 rooms. And inside these 4 rooms, there are telephones connected to the public institutions at that time, to including the schools, the factories, the hospitals, etc., to notify people that the B-52 would come in, go shelter. And then 2 other people, and then another person will come to the phones over here. These 2 phones were connected to the to 2 generals, 2 big generals in the meeting rooms that we saw earlier. On the street of Hanoi, there were a lot of shelters, personal shelters. It's technically like concrete. It's made of concrete. It looks like a tank, a giant tank. Money wasn't really important as the coupons for this stuff. So you see, like we have coupons for everything, for food, for sugar, for rice, for meat, for fabrics, literally for everything. So there was little side of money and the.
So does the president actually live there?
Yeah, the president lives there, works there.
I think it's one of the only yellow presidential houses in the world.
The left side is our second stop, the Jumbo Pagoda. It was built from 544 to 548. So it's have about 1,500 years old. The oldest pagoda in Hanoi.
Here. Phở mộc. Try the yolk with phở.
You mix it?
Not really. I mean, it depends. Some people do. Some people. For me, I always save it for phở and everything.
And that wraps up the tour. I hope that you learn a lot by following along. I know that we couldn't dive into all of the details in this video, but if you are looking for more information, I do suggest that you check out the Ken Burns documentary titled The Vietnam War. It was originally released on PBS and is now available on Netflix, and that dives a lot deeper into the topics that we covered. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. Hit the thumbs up button below. I appreciate you taking time to follow me on my journey, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.